Hello, Peter. Thank you for joining us and welcome to the first ever Gaming Tech Summit. How does it feel to be here?
No, it's very great. It's my first time in Kenya, and you've seen we just won an award for the best responsible gambling program in Africa. We've been working so hard in Botswana to ensure that before we issue out all these other forms of licenses, at least we have a proper program in place for responsible gambling. Kenya has been good so far.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear. Speaking of having the best gambling platform and program, I wanted to ask you a few questions about how the implementation of the SMS-based competitions is being received within the country. I understand that it's a recent development within the country. So how have the punters been responding to it, and how has it affected the gaming industry within the country as a whole?
Yes, this one we is mainly geared towards the small men. This is what we are saying: win a car, win a farm, win this amount of dollars. There's been a lot in terms of response because we are also working with our regulatory counterparts, the ones that license the mobile network operators. When we developed this policy or these guidelines, we engaged with the mobile network operators. They were very, very happy because this license type or registration, it existed in Botswana 10 years ago. But when we got in, we stopped it because it was not according to law, but to facilitate instead of frustrating the industry or also the mobile network operators, we came up with a policy. So they've received it well. We have had quite a couple in terms of inquiries. It started on the 6th of May. It's relatively new, so it's good. Also, we have signed an MOU with one state-owned entity who deals with issues of technology. So we are sponsoring a digital lab. So when all these other licenses come, like your betting, we'll have a pool of developers within Botswana. The aim is to be like the likes of Kenya, where there's a lot in terms of innovation. We are also aligned to the presidential reset agenda or the national priorities, where we are talking about issues of digitization and digitalization. So it's quite a good one. We've got lots of graduates who are on the streets who are tech savvy. So in a way, we have facilitated them. We'll see the revenues of the mobile network operators growing. On the other hand, the operators or those that we register for this SMS competitions, they pay a certain levy or a certain percentage of their gross gambling revenue, so that we can also deal with the effects of addiction, prone gambling. We are talking about youth here, so it's very, very important that we should have that in place and see how we would want to assist them, so that we don't create a society of addicts and they don't have any place where they can go for rehabilitation, for counseling, such as those ones.
Speaking of a vision of where you have people adhering to responsible gambling, do you think the implementation of maybe the SMS-based competitions and quizzes will tamper with the vision you guys are trying to adhere to within the country?
Yes, what we are basically doing, we're creating a balance. Because the market, the mobile network operators, the public, they're actually doing that in other countries, which is illegal. So we need to facilitate them. Yes, we have done researches around land-based your casinos, around the prevalence. So currently, we recently commissioned a study, which is also now talking on prevalence, because the other study we did it 5 years ago. So now after COVID, everybody has moved to technology. So what we are basically doing now with the study, we are now looking for feed-forward information to see, because they've been doing it. So we'll be including them just to see what is the prevalence. We foresee it also creating addictions, because quizzes are meant for educational programs. We have kids who are going to school who will be playing these games. Yes, it's for their education, but knowing kids, they'll try and do your other games, your Roblox and all these other, they'll try and go into all those other ones. But the good thing is we have created a KYC platform. Our regulator, everyone has to register their SIM card. So at least at any given time, we know which SIM card belongs to this one. The issues of IP addresses. So in a way, we foresee we'll deal with it with our experience from dealing with land-based license types. We're also introducing online betting. So these are some of the things we are prepared We have done well in terms of responsible gambling, dealing with the issues of problem and responsible gambling. We are currently at 5% in terms of problem gambling. Now we want to see what the problem gambling looks like for the online, for the SMS, digital, and all those quizzes. Is something that the mobile network operators, the public are really happy about. And I'll also encourage those from Kenya, because you are quite tech savvy, to come to Botswana and apply for these registrations so we can work together and grow the industry in Africa, Botswana, Kenya, Nigeria, all included.
I believe that's a very beautiful and impactful vision you have right there. And I'm sure our regulators have had you, and we'll see how things move forward from there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and the good thing is I've recently been appointed to the board of the Africa Gaming regulators. So I'm encouraging all the other regulators to join us so that we foster all these collaborations. You have seen we have developed a portal, a self-help portal. You visit the Gambling Authority website, you'll see the portal. So Nigeria are copying the same thing. So we are introducing also a central electronic monitoring system. Nigeria recently did the same. So we are copying from Nigeria. The SMS digital is something that Kenya has always been doing. We have copied from Kenya. So I'm saying Africa should copy from Botswana in terms of responsible gambling.
Speaking of digitization and all these technological advancements, I feel like we've mostly reflected on that in perspective of operations and operators. How do you feel like digitization is making a positive impact when it comes to regulation as well?
Yes, you'll find that in terms of our gambling laws or gambling acts, they need to be revised. Like I'm saying, we're very happy as Botswana that ours, we started operating in 2016. So the act was enacted in 2012. So like I always say, we are coming from behind. So in a way, we are currently even reviewing our gambling policy, our gaming policy, which was developed in 2002. This is the very policy that gave birth to the Gambling Act of 2012. Now we are at a point that we are reviewing the Gambling Act of 2012 because after COVID, everything has moved online. It's something that as the industry, as the gambling industry, both the regulators and the operators, we should be well awake to the fact that everything has moved online. I've read somewhere that currently the gambling market, 50% is from betting. Because when you look at all these acts, all this regulation, only betting is online. Then casinos is land-based, or you can say they are remote. Then 14% of the world market is casinos. The reason why people still go to the casinos, according to the studies, is mainly because people go there for social reasons. So they're going there for social reasons. Then you'll find that lotteries are 9% of the world's market, because lotteries are also, I'll say, land-based. You buy them in a supermarket. So you'll find that if everything goes online, we've seen presentations from one company from who's dealing with Malta. They've got online lotteries. That is where the world is moving. So the most important things is we need to collaborate as regulators and ensure that we amend our acts or improve our acts, our regulations. We review them so that they can be up to date, because this industry evolves on a daily. On a daily, there's a new thing. We've heard of blockchain now with the invention of artificial intelligence, so which is checking or monitoring the players' patterns. So we need to move with the time so that we don't stifle our operators, because I believe our operators are our partners. The operators industry are our partners. On a daily, they come with innovative means and ways of developing new things. So our acts should be accommodative, they should be flexible. So that's the message that I can say to the rest of the regulators in Africa, that these are some of the things we should be collaborating on.
Can you highlight a bit about what the Gaming Levy Fund Committee is all about and its impacts with the industry back in Botswana?
Yes. In Botswana, we charge 10% of our gross gambling revenue as a levy. So it is law in our Gambling Act. So this money is managed by the Levy Fund Committee, which is appointed by the minister. So the purpose of this fund is to develop the industry. For example, the gambling levy that I talked about earlier is sponsored by these funds. The training that we provide to the industry employees is provided for by this fund. So for the operators, we train their employees so that we create a pool for this. So we do research in the industry we use this funds. So these are just some of the key issues of why we have this levy fund, and it's mainly for the development of the industry in Botswana. If other operators can, all other regulators can borrow from that, because we have to plow back to the industry, the operators, even to the public in general. Also, maybe just to mention, we have a responsible gambling fund, but this one, the operators, they contribute. Maybe that is why, as Botswana, we tend to be doing well, because it's also law that they contribute. If you are given a license in Botswana, you have to contribute to this cost. It's not. It's something that is mandatory, so it has to be done. It's also helping the operators. If you've seen at my presentation when I was showing a line graphs in terms of the growth of revenue, we have seen a growth in revenues. Even for the operators, they are running a business because now they are having a healthy and well-informed player. Because if everyone is an addict, the industry, they won't make money. So it's very, very important that we work together as the regulator and the operator to ensure that we have a healthy, informed player so that the industry is sustained. Yes.
I think other jurisdictions within Africa can really learn a thing or two from Botswana, and hopefully they'll also borrow a thing from you as you're borrowing from the rest of us, and also become bigger and better, just like you guys. Finally, I would want us to touch on the collaboration between regulators and operators. How do you promote or encourage the collaboration between the two? Because most of the time you find that operators and regulators feel like their common interests are not really aligned, and it brings a clash of uniformity. So how do you encourage the collaboration of both parties, and as well, how do you see it's going to reflect within the future in the gaming industry?
Yes, it is very, very important. Like one of my counterparts from Nigeria, that we should stop over-regulating. The issue of over-regulating. So what we should be doing, we should be harmonizing our regulations. We should be harmonizing our laws, such that if you're operating in Kenya or you're operating in Namibia, you want to come to Botswana, it's the same request for application, it's the same context. Yes, there's issues of citizen empowerment. We should ensure that we minimize the issue of over-regulating, the issue of overtaxing. So it's very, very important, because the operators are creating employment. For us as the regulator, ours is not to focus on revenue, is to ensure that there is a balance between the socio and economic. You'll find that they are paying taxes, they are creating employment, they are sponsoring sports. I've seen your sports pairs are sponsoring even teams in the UK. So it's very, very important to come up with uni standards. You'll find that there's a testing lab in South Africa, there's a testing lab in Kenya. If I'm from Botswana, I need to test. I've got my own standards. So we should make everything unified. We should make sure that everything is standard, so that we can have one Africa. We can have one Africa regulation. So that is what I really believe in. And we should facilitate the operators as opposed to facilitating them. The operator should feel free to come to us. The moment the regulator and the operator are working together, we will have less illegals, because the operators those that are licensed and paying taxes and creating employment, they are going to report the illegals. It will make our job much more easier. So it's very, very important that we work in unison.
Absolutely. Collaboration is key when it comes to everything. All parties go home happy and all parties win. That was truly informative and truly insightful. Thank you so much for sparing some of your time and speaking with us. And always welcome back to Kenya anytime. Yes, our home is your home.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah.